Good morning, this is Miss Benton, and we are going to talk about congruence in right triangles. So to this point, we have had several theorems that we have used to show that triangles are congruent. We had side, 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 and we had side, angle, side, and we had angle, angle, side, and angle, side, angle. Today we're going to learn about our fifth and last theorem that will help us with triangle congruence. But this one is special because this one only works in right triangles. All the other triangle congruence postulates and theorems work in any triangle, but this one only works in right triangles. So let's review the parts of a right triangle before we get any further. We remember that all right triangles have to have a right angle, one 90-degree angle, and across from that angle, the longest side of the triangle is called the hypotenuse. So the opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. And the other two sides of a right triangle, just like in an isosceles triangle, called the legs. So that's some information you need to know in order for this postulate to work. So it works in such a way that if you have one right angle and two sides congruent, the two sides specifically not on either side of the angle, they are across from, the hypotenuse is congruent, and one other leg is congruent, then the triangles will be congruent to each other. So basically it's angle, side, side, and yes, this is a bad word, so oftentimes it is not referred to as angle, side, side, but people refer to it as side, side, angle, because that avoids the bad word. But we're just going to go ahead and own up to it here. It's angle, side, side, where the angle is a right angle. But again, the tricky part about this is remembering that it only works with right triangles, with right angles. So let's go ahead and test this out in example 1. Tell whether the hypotenuse leg is the name of this postulate, hypotenuse leg theorem. We don't call it angle, side, side, because again, it has negative connotations. Can be applied to prove the triangle is congruent. Possible, write the triangle congruent statement. And you remember now by this point that the triangle congruent statement is when you say triangle blah 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 is congruent to triangle blah blah blah, and you name the triangles in order of their corresponding vertices. Alright, so let's go through the checklist. First of all, do I have arrows? No, no arrows. I'm looking here at the first figure. Do I have a common side? Aha, yes, common side. And so let me put tick marks on BD because that is the bottom of the top triangle and the top of the bottom triangle. I cannot use alternate interior angles here because I do not have those arrows. I do not have vertical angles. I do not have anything else on the checklist. I don't have a statement about a midpoint or anything. I don't have a statement about anything being perpendicular. So this is no, this is not possible. Because again, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a right angle, a hypotenuse that's congruent, but then I have to have one other side that's congruent. And I do not have that other side. I needed one more side to be congruent for this to work. So let's go on to part B then. On this one, it looks like we have one set of sides given to be congruent to us. We have our right angles. And then we also have this statement at the bottom about T being the midpoint of RV. So if T is exactly in the middle of RV, then I can put tick marks on either side of T. Those segments RT and TB will have to be congruent. Now do I have angle side side? Sure enough, in both triangles, I have angle side side with a right angle. So yes, hypotenuse leg theorem, or postulate technically. And then we got to do our triangle congruent statement. So I'm going to say S RT is congruent to triangle UTV. And all of this is our answer. So if you want, you can pause the video for just a second and you try this on your own, and then come back when you have the U-try completed. Okay, so now let's take a look at the U-try. Going with what I have, it looks like I already have hypotenuse is congruent, and I have one right angle, but I'm not given to have another right angle. So let's go through the checklist and see if there's anything else I can mark up. My very first question on the checklist is, do I have arrows? And I do have arrows. So that allows me to use these and F. It allows me to say that alternate interior angles are congruent because of a Z right here. So since the top angle is 90, the bottom angle is also 90. Also going through the checklist, next item, do I have a common side? Yes, I do. PM is a shared side in both triangles. And so now do I have enough to say angle, side, side in both triangles? Yes, I do. So yes, hypotenuse leg postulate. And my triangle congruent statement would be triangle JPM is congruent to triangle WMP. Okay. All right, let's go on to example 2. Remember, this is the kind of homework example where they're asking you what else do you wish you had in order to prove these two triangles congruent by hypotenuse leg. So it looks like I already have the right angles. As I go through my checklist, before I say what I wish I had, I don't have arrows, I don't have vertical angles, but I do have a common side. I don't have a statement about a midpoint or perpendicular lines, anything like that. So let's move on then. What do I wish I had? Well, I would need another side. If this is going to be angle side side with a right angle, I need another side. So two correct answers. You could say PY is congruent to RE. That would work. Or you could say PR is congruent to YE. It doesn't matter which one of these answers you give. Either one would be correct. It would give you another side and angle side side. On the next set of triangles, we have two sides congruent, but we do not have any right angles. So all I need on this one is for T and angle Q to be right triangle. Or I'm sorry, right angle. Because if I had that, I would have enough for angle side side with the right angle to work. Okay, I'm going to again let you pause the video to U-try and come back when you're ready to take a look at the answer. Okay, now let's look at the U-try. So you have your right angles, but that's all that's marked up on here. So let's continue. We go through our checklist. We do not have arrows. We do not have vertical angles, but we do have a common side. Our hypotenuses are congruent. There's actually nothing else we can mark up on these pictures. So now at this point, what do we wish we had? Well, we need another side to be congruent. So XV to be congruent to VT, or XR to be congruent to RT would work. Either one of those.